Good morning, this is Heather
And TJ.
with Murray's Home for Wayward Chickens, and we have recently had a small influx in subscribers. Yay! And it turns out that not only people somewhat interested in the silly antics that go on with having chickens in our house with a chicken rescue, but we have some people that are really interested in learning about chickens. And so we've decided, after having a really nice conversation with a sweet girl the other day about the peritonitis that we're handling with Mopsy, we decided to put a few videos together. It might be like a weekly thing or every few days or something like that. That's going to be about 5 to 10 minutes tops. Today we're going to start with chicken basics and how to detect illness in your chickens. The other videos following it will dive deeper into what those ailments can be and how to treat them. But for now, this one is going to be just how to detect ailments in your chickens. So the first thing we do is we do a flock check. I'd like to say we do a flock check every week. We don't, it gets too busy, but we do one at least every 2 weeks, and we do them daily on whichever chicken we're handling. And of course, if anything looks out of sorts immediately, we have to go check that chicken. So you're out there every morning with them.
Yeah. Normally, the main thing you want to look for is any kind of a change in their behavior. When I'm in there in the morning and I let them out, if any one of those chickens decides that they're not going to go out with the rest of the flock and they're sitting on the perch and taking their time, that's a telltale sign that there's something wrong. So I immediately have to pick them up, take a look, and see if there's something going on. You want to look for any type of physical ailment, any kind of lethargy.
So basically, you get to know your chickens. They have personality, they have quirks and idiosyncrasies, and if you spend any amount of time with them, you will start to pick up on their personalities and their traits. When those personalities and traits change, even slightly, you have an energetic, one of our chickens is named Meat Meat, because when we got her, she just zings from one place to another, like chaos. She's like the Roadrunner, so we named her Meat Meat. So if she's not running around, something's wrong. So those are the things we're talking about when you start to pay attention to your chicken's personality. When those things change, that's an indication that your chicken might just be unhappy or they could be sick. So you have to look at their comb. The comb on the top of their head should be standing straight up and it should be a bright red. Some chickens don't have combs, like our Brahmas have flat combs. But when you have a chicken that has a comb that's a normal, regular chicken, it should be standing up in red. If it flops over and becomes pale, dry, crusted, then that's a telltale sign. Your chicken is sick. There is something wrong. It's not even unhappiness. Also, go ahead.
You want to also look at their feathers. Any type of disheveled look in their feathers, if they're not preening themselves anymore, that can also indicate a sickness.
Yeah, chickens are really clean.
Yeah.
They, believe it or not, I mean, they'll eat crap, but they do dust baths. And those dust baths where you see them digging holes in the ground and throwing dirt all over the place, that's to keep themselves clean. That keeps parasites off of them, and it keeps the oil off their feathers. It keeps them clean. So if they're disheveled and they're not clean, something's also wrong. That would also take you to the vent area. If they have a dirty butt, there could be an indication of several things. There could be a gray, dusty look around the vent, or it could be a dry, crusty poop stuck to their vent, or if they just have a dirty butt. Those are all indications that something is wrong. Also with their legs.
Yeah, you want to look for any kind of physical injury. If they start limping, they'll hide a limp as much as possible. But if you see them walking a little bit slower, or they hold the leg up a little bit longer than they normally would, that's usually an indication of a problem. There's a number of different ailments that can cause that. There's physical things.
If their legs look thicker, if their legs have flaky scales on them, if their legs aren't smooth with cuticle that goes flat down and nice and shiny, those are all indications of an issue. Also, if you have egg-laying chickens, if they're already of the egg production age, and you know that they lay an egg every day, or they lay an egg every 2 days, and their egg production changes, that's an indication that something is wrong also. If their eggs change, where they're soft-shelled, or they're not fully formed, or they just stop laying, those are all also issues. If they don't come out of when TJ says he goes and checks on them in the morning, sometimes you have a broody hen, which we'll discuss later, where they don't want to leave the nesting box. They're nesting all day. there's a way to take care of that. But if they're on the perch, if they come out in the morning and suddenly you go out and you see them in the middle of the afternoon to give them a snack, and one or two of the birds are up on a perch inside the barn and everyone else is outside foraging and it's a beautiful day and that chicken's inside, something's wrong. And then go ahead.
I think that they'll isolate themselves.
Yes.
A chicken that's really sick and will find a place to just hide by itself and get away from everything, and oftentimes it's going to be at the end of the ailment.
They'll will themselves to die.
Yeah.
Chickens will not, because they're prey animals, they will not show weakness. They don't want to show that they're vulnerable. So when TJ mentions that maybe they have a slight limp or they're just holding their leg up, it's because they don't want anyone to know they're injured. They don't want anyone to know they're hurt. It's a vulnerability, and it makes them susceptible to being attacked, whether by their own flock or by a predator. And so they try to hide it as best as they can. And then if they do get sick enough and they're isolated off in a corner, they're just waiting to die. And it's almost too late at that point. So you need to pay attention to these things in advance so that you can detect them early and get them the treatment or get them the treatment that they need and get them healthy again. I think those are the basics of how to tell. Besides, if they're lethargic. So, the energetic chicken running all over the place, if they're just sleeping all day, that's another indication that something's wrong. So we'll go into a breakdown and dive down into what those symptoms can mean. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. And we're going to follow up with other videos on exactly what those ailments are and how to treat them. Any questions or comments, leave them. And if you'd love to subscribe or hit the like button. And if you have anything to add.
I don't. I think that was good.
We got TJ involved today, so you guys know he exists.
I do exist.
He's like an M&M.
An M&M.
They do exist.
Uh,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.